Now we're going to stick with climate change because environmental scientists tell us our sea levels are rising. But could that mean that one iconic part of the southeast could disappear? Emma Thomas reports.
It's an iconic scene that's inspired countless artists. These coastguard cottages at Cuckmere Haven in East Sussex are a world-famous tourist destination and have been in Lucy Mutter's family for generations. So this place means a lot to you, and that's because of your family history here?
It does, yes. My great-grandfather, John Ayres, this is he. He was the last acting coastguard officer stationed here between about 1912 and the 1920s when the station was decommissioned.
After the station was decommissioned, Lucy's great-grandfather bought it, and now it's Lucy's job to keep a watchful eye over the coast. But these cottages are under threat. There's a danger they could fall into the sea. Raymond Ward is a principal lecturer at the University of Brighton, and he says the cottages are at risk due to rising sea levels.
So climate change is exceptionally serious in the southeast. We've got about 4 millimetres per year of sea level rise at the moment, although the predictions are that that rate will increase over the next 20, 50 and then 100 years and continue to rise.
And what is responsible for climate change? It's stuff that we're doing on land, isn't it?
Yeah, so predominantly it's an increase in gases, so CH4, methane, CO2. Those gases are released into the atmosphere and they do an excellent job of trapping heat. What that leads to is the melting of land-fast ice, so particularly sort of mountain glaciers, which are disappearing at a very rapid rate, and also the glaciers that are in Greenland and Antarctica.
So, rising global temperatures are affecting sea levels. And although a 4 millimetre increase per year might not sound like much, scientists say the problem will get worse if we keep polluting the Earth's atmosphere at the current rate. And that's bad news for the cottages here in Cuckmere Haven, because the way they're being protected has changed too. They've long been defended by 2 seawalls. One of them was built by Lucy's grandfather and the other by the government. Well, this is a seawall that Lucy's grandfather built after the Second World War with war reparation money. And that stood the test of time fairly well, apart from a few minor repairs over the years. But the real problem is over here. This seawall is owned by the Environment Agency, and they've decided not to maintain it. And it's putting Lucy's property at risk. The Environment Agency has stopped protecting some areas of the coast. They say with the predicted rise in sea levels in the future, it would be too costly and not practical to fund defences everywhere. But despite the challenges, Lucy's determined to hold back the tide for future generations. We decided to bring Ray to meet her to talk about climate change and her cause.
So how do you envisage things in the short and the long term? I mean, what's it going to be like in 50 years, for example?
If we've got increased storm surges, and we've got quite high tides here, if you get a big storm surge and the sea level is 1 metre higher, and you've got another, say, 3 metres storm surge on top of that, it will just overwhelm our current defences.
Lucy's part of a group of residents called Cuckmere Haven SOS, who are desperately trying to save the coastguard cottages. They need to get planning permission and raise money to fix the sea defence.
I have a huge amount of sympathy for the Environment Agency. They have a huge, huge job to do. Not a great deal of money to do it with. So they have to pool their resources where they have to, which is why we're trying to do this by ourselves. Which
I think is that's an excellent idea. If the finances aren't there to protect the coastline, but there is a way to essentially crowdfund or to get a group together to protect that part of the coastline, then I think it obviously is, I agree with you, it's a beautiful and stunning area of the coastline. And if it can be protected, particularly these houses, then it should be.
In a statement, the Environment Agency said, "We're investing $2.6 billion in flood and coastal erosion risk management projects between 2015 and 2021, helping to protect at least 300,000 homes. We assess the needs for flood protection based on local evidence, including how many properties are at risk and what it would cost to reduce the risk of flooding and erosion. These assessments ensure public money is spent in areas where it can achieve the greatest public benefit.
You know, we recognise that it's a national treasure. So yes, we feel very much that that we have a duty to preserve it as long as we can.
So you've got a real family history here. Now you're bringing your daughter down here.
Yes, absolutely, yes. The cycle continues because my mum came down here as a little girl, and there's even a photograph of her here, very, very small. Oh no, she's got your hair now, sorry.
That's my hair, not your hair. Lucy and the charity Cuckmere Haven SOS have raised £40,000 so far through their fundraising efforts and have just submitted a planning application to improve the current seawall. And although a lot more funding will be needed, Lucy says she's determined to protect this iconic bit of Sussex history.
Climate change is real, it's here, but we're going to do everything in our power to protect this amazing place.